You
We're
get
missing one.
We are missing one.
That's in my district.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have one. Feel like I'm left out.
This is yours.
No, that's it.
No,
that's
it's
it.
not.
That's
What are
District
you
2.
doing?
Sorry.
Well, somebody needs to call Jimmy. I guess he forgot, sure.
No, he
Thanks
wouldn't
for the picture.
forget. We'll get
Thanks for the
started.
picture.
He's a grown man.
Last week. Picture.
Yep. It's all right. You never sent me that info. She did? Oh, good deal.
Unless I can hear the game like tonight, I'll have to hear.
Okay, good to know.
So, I was worried about the write-up, but she put just enough. I mean, but she put the score of the last game.
Okay.
46-16, whatever it was.
Yeah.
One to go, sir. I know. Thank you. That will be. Friday night I was worried about. And they worked out. Yeah. Thought about it a lot. As long as the Morris kid comes through.
Good morning, Mr. Sheffer. How are you?
Huh?
I'm well.
Hey,
Good to have you
Rick.
this morning.
I guarantee it.
Hey, Rick.
That's
Will
what I
you
told Miss
hit your
Anderson.
mic button
To
for
watch
me,
them practice,
please?
it's fun.
Thank you.
They did. I mean, when I'm at a funeral home and they take over and run
What
the
do you think
office,
about
you know,
Cincinnati
you gotta-
signing
you gotta
that
go on.
picture?
They were proud that they had to walk
5-point
the door.
earn average, and they give them 10 million a
Good
year.
thing.
I've done it for half that.
I'll do it for season tickets. On Gullet.
Give us just a minute while Mr. Burns comes in. All right.
Johnny on Gullet and Wingo,
I've been late
you know,
this
the one that has football.
Hey, we're on.
His old son, I'm sorry, I instead of
Go ahead, Mr.
football,
Manning. We'll wait on him while he's
pitching.
coming in. I mean,
I should've
we'll be
got
praying
you
while he's
into
coming in.
pitching, son.
Father, we're very thankful that you brought us to this particular day. We thank you for your protection as we go about the business of what we have to do here within the county. Now, Lord, I ask you to be with the judge and the magistrates and all those that will make decisions this morning that will affect all the people within our county. We believe it to be done justly and rightly because we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Manning. Good morning, good morning. Good to have a full house again today. We, first on our agenda this morning is the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. First item on our business section this morning is Amelia Wilson is with us. She is Representative James Comer's field rep, and she will be conducting office hours immediately following this. But she's a fantastic resource for our county, and we appreciate you being here. I'll yield the floor. You got an update for us today? What's going on?
Well, I'd just like to tell, especially the new magistrates, that if there's ever casework issues such as Social Security, VA, something in your district, feel free to call me. I'm going to hand you all cards at the end of the meeting, so don't hesitate to let me know if our office can be of help.
Okay. Thank you, Amelia. Amelia has been big help on a lot of projects we have going, and one of them I'll get to in my part a little bit later.
Is Amelia open for questions?
Yes.
Okay. Appreciate you being here, Amelia. I know Representative Comer was working on where teachers who are retired, they're not qualified to draw Social Security. I think that's unfair. I think most people think that's unfair. We encourage the people to work, have jobs, and be productive, and then we say, well, retired teachers, or even though they might have worked in the public in their younger years or later years, they cannot draw Social Security. Is there any update on that, Amelia?
No, we've had several people call about that, and that is something that we're still working on and trying to, he agrees with you on that. I mean, that's definitely an issue that we've had a lot of constituents concerned about that, so as we know more information, I'll be sure to update you.
Okay, appreciate that. And what, on the Earl C. Clemens Job Corps Center, is there anything on, as far as the infrastructure?
There is not at this time. We've heard, we've been in contact with the judge and everything, and so that's an issue that we haven't been able to tackle yet. And we've reached out to several, especially the grad office and that sort of thing, so we are working on it, but it's a big project, it's a very big project, so.
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, that is, I appreciate anything the U.S. Representative Comer can do on that. That's a big project, but the Job Corps Center is very important to Union County. The jobs, and we're working them in with preparing our younger folks for the workforce, and there's a lot of opportunities there, and we certainly don't want to lose that center because we don't have infrastructure there on water and sewage. And so any help on that would be greatly appreciated in Union County.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda this morning, we have Superintendent of the County Schools, Patricia Sheffer. Ms. Sheffer is a guest that I invited to come and just share a little bit about what's going on in the school system. It's a good time of the year, rolling over the first of the year, and so they are in charge of our greatest asset, and that's our youth. And so we appreciate all the efforts they do, and I could go on and on bragging, but I'm just going to turn it over to Ms. Sheffer and her staff. You may have several you want to introduce that are here, but it's yours. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting us, and I have Amy Morris with me, she's the Director of Finance, and then Wanda Beecham, Director of Public Relations, and can't talk about some that we've lost, but at least it's working for you.
She used to work for you?
Well, talk about it, Jerry. Like those ball players, you know what I'm talking about? Collaboration. So, this morning, Judge Allen asked me to come, and I'm just gonna give you an overview of our school system, and you have a PowerPoint there, and I apologize, we can't project this screen. We have a couple throughout the audience here. You have some that you can share, because you know this is color copy because of cost. We don't want to exceed our copy cost, Executive Morris and slapping her hand. So, I'm just gonna start with the first slide you see, it explains the students we serve. So these are the students that we serve here in Union County as far as the public school system. You can see we have 130 pre-K students, which is our preschool, 930 elementary students, 463 middle school students, 721 high school, and 77 at Victory Tech. Victory Tech High School is our high school that's located on our Job Corps Center. So I agree with Magistrate Clemens. Job Corps is a vital part of Union County, and it will help us grow not only in the school system, but in the county and actually in the region. I was just talking to Mr. Rickus this morning, and we've had other school systems show interest in our Job Corps Center for vocational trade there. So now that the dropout rate age has increased to 18, several of the communities around us, they're looking at their students transferring to our Victory Tech High School and Job Corps Center instead of being a dropout, so they can actually receive a trade. So that's a benefit. Kentucky, not just Union County. So if you look at the students we serve, 11% of our students are identified as gifted and talented. 13 are identified as special needs. We have 13% minority, 62.9% on free lunch. That's not free and reduced, that's just free. And then 77% of our students live in high poverty areas in Union County, and 11% are homeless. So with that being said, regardless of state funding, we still want to make sure that all of our students reach their full potential. So we want to make sure that we shared with the Fiscal Court this morning, regardless of what is going on at the state or federal level, we're very appreciative of all the partnerships we have in our local community. Because in addition to the seat dollars that we receive, most of ours, in order for us to maintain what we're doing, you'll see later in the presentation, it all stems from fundraising efforts on writing grants, regardless if it's still midnight at night, and several people collaborating on that among our community members. And then fundraisers and sponsorships. So we appreciate all the community collaboration that is involved with the school system. So the next page just shows a highlight of some of the data, some of our expenditures, our staffing. We have a large portion there. We pay $13 million in wages. We collect $65,000 in occupational taxes. We employ 356 full-time staff, 90 part-time, that's substituting. Then you'll see 66 academic or athletic stipends. That's any kind of stipend, whether it's STLP, academic team, coaching, things like that. 66 seems to be kind of a large number, but that's any stipend that anyone receives, that's part of that. Then as far as our utilities, that's another big ticket item. We have 5 schools, the bus garage and central office, which is a total of 406,000 square feet to heat and cool. Our total utilities average per month is $52,000. You look at phone, electricity, water, and sewage, that's all included. And then transportation, we have 35 bus routes transporting 1,682 students to and from school each day, which is an average of 2,912 miles per day, which is approximately 504,000 miles per year, which equates to 69,814 gallons of diesel fuel used annually. So the next page, I just wanted to share some of the increased opportunities and access that we have in our schools now that might not have been there when we were walking the halls of Union County High School. Some are the same and some we have added. So we actually offer more opportunities now than ever for our high school students, and these are just some of the clubs and sponsors that we have. But in addition to this, we have more dual credit classes now than we've ever had, and more AP classes. And opportunities as far as collaboration with ACC. Our students can actually graduate with their high school diploma. They can graduate with an industry certification from Job Corps and an associate's degree from Henderson Community College if they choose. So that's our goal, is that they are graduating with more than a diploma now when they walk the line in County High School. So the next page, I just wanted to share with you some of the unfunded mandates and district challenges we have faced since 2014. And at the top, these are some of the more recent issues we've faced in fiscal year 19. The elimination of state grant funds from professional development and instructional resources was $81,000. We had an increase in district level match for our county retirement. I'm sure you are very aware of that, from 19% to 21.48%, which is an allowable up to 12% until 2028. So that's, all of us are going to be filling that. We had a cost of 2% state mandated raises in fiscal year 15, which was approximately $302,000. And then a 1% increase in 2014, which was $112,000. And I put a note over here in red. Locally, our staff have not had a raise since 2014-15 school year. So we're working on that. We've been working on trying to get our contingency built up, because we all know we're going to lose great teachers to neighboring counties if their salary is higher than ours, and especially ones like Davis County, which pays 10% more than Union County. Other costs associated with us as far as facing challenges, we had a KU rate increase, although we have minimized that with our district energy initiatives. We had an increase in district level match for teacher retirement from 1.5% to 3% in 2016. A reduction in state preschool funding was $68,000. Reduction in federal Title I was $187,000. No state funding received for full day kindergarten, that's $206,000. Unexpected decreases in unmined coal assessments in fiscal year 17 was $213,000. The TBA, the loss of revenue, was $283,000 in fiscal year 15. I'm not going to read all these to you, but you can go all the way down and see that we've definitely faced some challenges, but regardless of the challenges, we are still committed to doing what's best for our students. And I think we've done a great job with that, and you'll see later in a different slide that I have. So the next page just shows some district response to those budget reductions. Because of all of those challenges that we were facing, the board has had to make some major budget reductions since 2013 and 14, and you can see in each of these boxes here the amount that was reduced each year, which is nearly $2.5 million that we've reduced since 2013 school year. And in addition to the 5 boxes here at the top, at the very bottom, you'll see increased efficiencies in grant writings that we've done most recently. We've reduced number of bus routes because we've actually been on the buses writing to see what routes we can reduce to cost saving measures for purchasing buses and for the mileage on the bus and gas and things like that. So we reduced additional 3 routes this year. Our district staff pursued EPA Clean Diesel Grant to assist with the purchase of 2 buses. So the 2 newest buses that you see on our fleet, that was all through a grant that we Grove. Our district pursued Tier 2 competitive preschool grants, so we're actually providing services to more preschool students than we ever have, and that's our ultimate goal, is to get more of those babies in our building as early as possible. We have them from birth till 21, and we would love to have more of those from birth to 4 years old with us in our building versus at home, when you see 70% of our students in the Mount Poverty area. We use Flex Focus grant funds to provide students and teacher devices. You may have heard lately, we have more of a one-on-one initiative with our 5th and 6th and 7th grade students that will roll up through high school, because they are more efficient with technology than any of us. They're definitely digital natives for sure, and we're immigrants, so we're working with that and trying to stay ahead and keep making sure they're 21st century ready. We use capital funds requests to use restricted dollars for facility needs. You'll see later all of our facilities are aging, and there's no plans for new buildings in our facility plan in the near future, so those, they cost quite a bit of money. It's just like your own house. Sometimes it's cheaper to build a new one than to continue to put money into old one, but we're at the position where we're using some capital funds requests to deal with the facility needs. And then we practice continuous cost containment and reduction strategies throughout our district. So the next slide, I just want to show you the shift in funding, and this is what we're all concerned about, and I know Mr. Ricketts definitely was when he was on our board as a school board member. The amount of money that is shifting from the state, you know, in our section, was it 183 of the Constitution, says the state shall provide an adequate and equitable education for all students. However, we see on this slide, if you look at the two pie charts, the state in 2008, the state paid 71% of our local seat funding. And if you look now in 2018, they only pay 57%.
I'll hold that up for the people,
Yeah,
and
so if
they
you
can
see
see
it,
it. That
I'm
pie
sorry.
chart is striking.
Yes, and so when you look now, what that means for us locally, when you gotta pay your property taxes in November, and you get that rate is set by PBA here, by the assessments in our county, and then the state says you have these options to impose these rates, and you can see here that locally, it's gone from us as local citizens paying 29% to now 43%. However, the Constitution years ago, our forefathers said the state shall be responsible for that. So that's why we're always in Frankfurt and advocating for free public education, because we feel like free public education is a great equalizer. Everyone has the same playing field coming into education, and making sure by the time they graduate, they have all of those credentials to be a successful citizen and give back to Union County. So this is where we work constantly on this. When I'm in Frankfurt, this is what we're working on at all times, and this is why we're part of those organizations like Kentucky Association of School Superintendents and Kentucky Association of School Administrators, because all those K groups work together too. They're there lobbying for us 24/7. But we have to get this down. If the state does not reduce this and pay more, we will never see a reduction in our property taxes here in Union County. And that hurts, because the majority of us are farmers in Union County and or homeowners. And so if you have farms, you're paying property tax, and it has increased since 2018 that much, so that's drastic. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, that that is a state responsibility, but we have not seen the state put the dollars where they're supposed to be spending. So the next page further shows the declining state funding per pupil. So if you look, you'll see the orange boxes as they're going up the bar graph. That is the base seat funding, and that's where they're supposed to provide the same amount of base seat for every district across Kentucky, across the Commonwealth, a certain amount. And then there's a tier 1, which means that there's a tier there, and then the add-ons. So for the add-ons and tier, that's based on, like, we get additional dollars for special needs students, and there's a certain percentage, and there's a formula that shows if it's severe, moderate, or mild disabilities. So you'll see that kind of fluctuates, so that never stays the same. But the state base seat right now is supposed to be at least 4,000. But you can see across, as the state funding per pupils decline, the result's been a corresponding increase in local funding per pupil. So as this declines across, that's where us as the local community, we're having to compensate for that and pay more per child. But right now, I mean, we get $4,000. And I think the average, elder people would know here, locally it's not, but state inmates receive $7,000, $10,000 per inmate. And public school, you receive $4,000 from the state. I'm not sure what your receives from the state here. $31 a day, figure annually. But when you look at the state penitentiaries, it's kind of sad that $4 we remind them of that constantly. I know you need to rehabilitate, but you also need to start out from the very beginning, and maybe you wouldn't have some of those issues later. So we're working on that constantly. The next slide, I just wanted to show you, because of several times I've had to know in the past when we were trying to offer as an option occupational tax, a half a penny. Several community members asked me, why can't we use these dollars for these dollars? So if you look at this page, it actually shows you all of this red of all the dollars we receive. Our total district budget of all funds is 27 million. But when you look across in all these red columns, those are all restricted dollars, which means we cannot use those dollars for anything other than the sole purpose of what they were written in for. So the only column we have is this general fund operating expense of the 21 million. So you can go across and see special revenue. Those are our grants that are restricted. It's 2 million. Our district activity funds, which is restricted, that's 38,000. Our capital outlay, and that's basically you take $100 off the top of each one of the seat dollars that comes in per pupil, and that goes into your capital outlay for debt payments and construction only. That's 194,000. And then our restricted facility construction is 810,000. Our debt service, which is restricted to pay bond payments, is 945,000. Our food service fund, 1,646,000, and then daycare is at 86,000. So all of those dollars, it seems like a lot of dollars, but they're all restricted for one particular use. So the one column we can work out of is 21 million, and that's all of our operating expense comes out of that. So with that being said, the next slide shows you our general fund expenditures for the operation. When we look at that 21 million. I wanted to show you in a pie chart, 61% of our expenditure is on student instruction support, which should be. We want the majority of our pie to be about students. Plan operation and maintenance is 11%. School administration is 7%. District admin and business support is 8%. Student transportation 9%, and the remaining is contingency, which is at 4.8%, which the state requires you to keep at 2% contingency. If you fall below 2%, the state comes in and manages your district, which they're going to say, close your little schools. That's what they would say. So we want our community schools, they're thriving, and we want to run our own districts and have say what's going on. So the next slide I wanted to share with you is federal and state grant funding. You can also see there's been a declining grant funding too. The first set of bars show the federal amount that has declined since 2015, and then on the state side, you can see a decline there too. And there's one uptick there in 2018, and that was from the Tier 2 pre-K grants. That was a one-year grant. So on the side, you can see our bullet points. Fiscal year 19, federal and state grants have been reduced 305,327 over the last 4 years. For fiscal year 19, our tentative award amount for state preschool has been reduced by 53,447, and Tier 2 grants were not awarded to Union County fiscal year 19. So the grants we had previously will not receive now. Some of those, it's like one and done, and they're competitive, and once you receive them, you can't receive them again. Title I has been reduced $119,804 since 2015, and Title I provides teachers, instructional assistants, and parents involvement supplies. So a lot of times we'll have these parent nights to try to educate parents, and then it's all coming from Title I dollars. And since 2015, Title II has been reduced $54,000, and that's been used to fund instructional positions, extended days, professional development. Title II is trying to actually work with teachers to become stellar and master teachers, and now all the professional development's gone. So it's kind of hard when the state says you must be at this level as far as proficiency, but we're not going to give you any money to training your teachers. And now, because of the state that it's in, as far as teaching as a profession, we have more alt certification teachers coming in because you can't get enough teachers in the field. So there's a need more now than ever for more professional development. And then the grant provides, I just wanted to make a note here to show you the importance of this. Our grants, as far as Title I and Title II grants, they provide funding for 42 positions. So if we did not receive these federal and state grants, that would be 42 less staff members we would have. And we would not be able to employ those because that would be operating costs for us. So with all of that being said, we have a pie chart on the very back, and it says your taxes help Union County grow. And I know you'll see a big pie chart when we go to pay our taxes. All of us pay our taxes in the sheriff's office. You'll see a chart on the wall. But I wanted you to see for the school system, what all that involves. Where are your tax dollars going? You need to know if you're paying that amount, why are you paying that much, and where are they going? So I wanted to remind you, if you look, we have under transportation, there's 34 bus routes, the average mileage, 69,000 gallons of fuel. Under facilities, the maintenance of aging buildings and grounds, and I included there for you the year that these buildings were actually built. Most school districts don't have any buildings, older than 20 years. They start trying to replace those. And our newest building we actually have is our bus garage. So our utilities for all buildings, total of 406,000 square feet. I'm sure that's for insurance for all district facilities, and sometimes with aging it's more. The students we serve, I've already gone over that. And our employees, we have 75% of our staff have advanced degrees. That means they have their master's and above, which is great for our students. The cost for us is still there though, and then now we have 6 national board certified teachers, which is fantastic for a district this size. We're one of the top employers in the county. And then to be 21st century ready, we want to make sure that we're not only making sure our students have success in college and career, but also life success, because that's what the community said to us when we asked on our strategic plan. We asked the question, what do we want our students to know, be able to do, and be like? And they said they need to be life ready. We need people that will show up to work every day, be drug-free, and be willing to problem solve and work with each other, be team players. So that's what we're working on as far as graduation requirements, students' life success. And then school safety, you all know from the news, media, that is a priority. It will always be one of our priorities in the school system. We've been working on our double lock entry doors at our schools. We have additional surveillance cameras in all buildings. We are focusing more on social, emotional, mental health now than ever. We've had 2 suicides in Kentucky within the last month that have been involved in the educational world. One was a superintendent's daughter just 2 weeks ago, and another one was an attorney in Nelson County, I think it was, about a month ago. And I say that because they came from strong support systems, and there's just a lot of pressure. Social media and expectations from everywhere. We have to look at mental health in a different way than we have, about how to stay healthy and not see it as something negative, or if someone has an issue. We all have those days. We're human. So we need to work on more of social, emotional, mental health at an early age. Our safety software servers, we are having to purchase more software servers because of the additional cameras and the need for those cameras in the community. We want to make sure our sheriff's office and chiefs of police will have access to that. We're working on right now, it's called Crisis Go, through another grant, where like Sheriff Arnold can pull up on his phone and see a camera in his school or any school. Same thing with all the chiefs in like Uniontown, Hart, and Valver, they can flip on their phone. So if there is an issue for school, while we're boots on the ground working on the issue, they can actually be following that and radioing to us, keeping the communication going. So we're working on that right now through a grant. And just our DentaKid software visitor management system, we have that in place at the front office of every building too. So what I'd like to do is propose to Judge Owen that when we look at the poster that's hanging here, that we have something like this, and I know Melinda's worked on this for me, as far as what we provide. And I know there's so many things that these other organizations provide, like health, the library, extension office, and state and county. We could either have a breakout, for each piece of that pie, and then all coming together. But I think it would be advantageous for us as a county to say, here are your tax dollars going to work. Because most people will just want to know. We all want to do what's good for the common good of the community, but we want to know where those dollars are going. So I would just propose to Judge Onan, we create a poster like this to hang here in the courthouse to show where the dollars are going and that we're all working together for the common good of one. And put something like that in there.
That should be pretty easily done. We can get that from the other folks, and that's a good idea. It's always helpful to know where exactly. It's one thing to know your taxes are going to the school district. It's quite another to see broken down in this fashion where, I think we all want to see a bang for our buck, so to speak, and so this helps make that leap.
To be fair to all of them, they would all be the same setup.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking. Ours is because we take up the biggest pie.
Right.
Because the majority of your property taxes go to school, and each of them have that percentage. But what we were saying is, each one of these could either be a breakout, you have the center like this, and then each one have a breakout And
all the
if nothing
five.
else, we could bullet list, because it would be hard to put it, like the extension office is smaller in health, you couldn't put much in
Right.
there. We just, because we have the biggest piece here, we could do that, but.
You'll have plenty of room?
We don't have plenty of room. We need more. That's what, it was hard to condense, and that's what I was gonna say. Today's presentation is just a quick overview, a highlight of things that are going on. But in May, we have a working session for our actual working budget, because we have a tentative budget, a draft budget, and a working budget, so our budget changes 3 times a year, or has a chance to. So our working budget will be in May, and we would love to have an opportunity to have the magistrates come in and sit down with us when we go through our working budget, and you can see the details of all of the budget, of revenue and expenditure sides. Because it's all open record, and we try, we're very frugal with tax dollars, and we try to get $2 out of every dollar. And I tell you, having Amy Morris, I don't know if you know Amy Morris, but she can actually do that. She has us on rations.
Don't brag on her too much, we'll be one to have.
No, she's not going anywhere, I can promise you that. We've already said no, she can't. But she is a great asset to our county, and anything we can do as far as our office, your office, we'd be glad to work with you. Because I'll leave you with a quote on the back page: education is improving the lives of others, and you're leaving your community and world better than you found it. And I think in Union County, we are all in a position now where we can make that happen. See Union County moving forward and upward, and we're excited about that. With our partnership with Job Corps, like I said, it's been phenomenal. And since we don't have the dollars in a locally operated vocational school, that gives us the opportunity for our students to be on the road. They can still take their core classes at the high school and go out there during the day, get their certification in a trade, or they can go there full-time, residential or non. Our students, it's a win-win for them, so we're excited to have that. The last thing I'll share with you, I have passed out another PowerPoint, and this is just, you can peruse through this at your leisure. This is just other slides of the other things we've done in our district as far as last year. Our new state accountability system, you are classified as CSI, which is comprehensive intervention, TSI, which is targeted, or other. So when I talked to the commissioner about other, I'm like, so what does other really mean when you talk to the community? He's like, oh, it means you're not CSI or TSI. I got that. But I was like, how are you really defining that? It's basically other. So mainly you are labeled as an other district that does not need that intensive help. So we're an other district as far as our classification, which is great. So when I shared that with our staff, I just shared with them some of the other things that happened last year during the school year. So these are just slides of some of the other accomplishments that they did, because we're so much more than just a test score. And you can see through these slides all the accomplishments that had taken place in Union County School District last year. And I just pulled some of these that I knew I had from my Twitter account, things that I had followed myself as a superintendent. I'm sure there's lots more, but I just wanted to share with you, those are some of the other things that are going on in the district. So what questions might you have?
Superintendent Sheffer, some of these figures are quite shocking. It says 77% of Union County students live in high poverty areas. Now, are those students, their household is high poverty, or are they just living in a high poverty?
They're living in a high poverty area. Their own household might not be considered a poverty home as far as household income, but they're living in a high poverty area.
Okay.
So when you look at the 69%, 62%, and this is not associated with our free breakfast lunch program. The community eligibility provision is separate from this. These are students, if we did not have that grant from the federal government to provide the free breakfast lunch, these are the amount of students we'd be serving almost 63% free breakfast. So that's based on their income.
Ms. Sheffer, I was curious about the 11% homeless. Can you expand on that?
It's two parts. One is they could be temporarily removed from the residence, like their house burned, there was a fire, and they're living with grandma or grandpa. And the other one is true homeless. They have nowhere to go. Those are our students that are living in a van. Those are our students that might be in a camper at the river camp, that they have no residence where they're paying any property tax or rent. And we have them. And it's sad to think we do. We work with them, and that's where we miss some of our frisky people, but we have some great people that have stepped up to take their place. We have to be on that 24/7, because we know in the school system, before you can ever even consider reaching their academic ability and their cognitive level, we have to look at all their physiological needs first, that food, clothing, shelter. And if you don't clear that amygdala and all their worries, they cannot focus on, they're focused on, where am I gonna sleep tonight? Or where am I gonna get my next meal, or things like that. So our Frisky program is more important now than ever, I think, with, you know.
It's just a high number. That's a
Yes, it is
high number. You know,
It's
That-
increased from when I started 8 years ago, it was around 4%. And now it's 11.
It's even a higher number when you multiply it out and put real numbers on it. That's over 200 kids in our county
Yes.
yeah.
that are homeless, and that is unacceptable.
Most definitely.
Unacceptable.
And I have to say, even though the number's high, I think we've had more people step up and try to intervene than we've ever had. I think the community's working together. We've had churches, I know with us, even with our school safety programs, we've had churches to make donations, individuals come up, you know, community members come up and make donations, and they've said, we want this allocated to this family. They know sometimes through churches, and I have to say kudos to our churches because they are doing outreach programs. I know Mr. Meadows, different places where they're trying to stay connected to those kiddos, because it's not only financial poverty we're dealing with, and I just say it, some superintendents won't, but it's a spiritual poverty that we're dealing with now worse than ever. And I don't know about your own churches that you attend, but sometimes that congregation has decreased. Ones that, you know, we've always been there, our grandparents taught us you're in the pew no matter what. So that's decreased. I think people are home more now than they have been. Sometimes our kiddos don't even get home. They need to be with us, they need to be in church, they need to be at Vacation Bible School, they need to be at the public library doing time for tots and all those things. So that's why I say we want our state to fund full-day kindergarten first, because that's an expense for us, and then work on preschool, because we can still work on preschool grants and get those babies in, but unfortunately, when you go in the homes, you see the need for them to be in the building with us. And I thought, in Union County, it's just, I think that's why I said, told Judge Johnny, we all have to work on our strategic plan of where do we want to see Union County in 3 years or 5 years, and think about what goals were we going to set to get there, because that's what we've done in the school system as far as our strategic plan. We asked that question, of what do we want our students to know, be able to do, and be like, and then we've set 4 goals as far as 4 pillars we work on each year, and we do progress monitoring every other month to check on where are we on meeting these goals, because we all want to do what's best for students in the school system as far as academics and things like that, but as a county, I think we need to think about our plan and who are we? You know, we're Union County, what does that mean? And all of us, if we're all come together and have one strategic plan, whether it's the Fiscal Court and the school system and Health Department, Extension Office, the cities, councils, if we're all working and moving the same direction, I think we'll get there faster. And we have several things that need to be addressed countywide, not just the school system. We're always willing to give the labor hours and back hours. We don't have the dollars because it's your tax dollars already, but our team is willing to step up and do several needing to be. And we have some that have started, like UC Cares. They're working on quite a few things with safety and poverty and things like that. But we're always willing to help and do whatever, but I think it's going to take all of us moving in the same direction to think about what is our North Star and how we're going to get there. I think we have the people in Union County to make it happen. I just feel like our economic development, we have to really work on bringing in more business and industry, because that will help with taxes and everything else. But more importantly, we have a lot of jobs here. We just don't people want to work, to be quite honest. And we work with those parents every day and say, you know, you're setting the tone for your child, and they think it's okay to lay on the couch. It's not. And so we have to work on that.
Ms. Shepherd, I'd like to commend your staff, and y'all do an awesome job. And one thing I would like to say is, when people out driving around, pay attention to these school buses. You see it every now and then, people running these stop arms. That's a recipe for disaster. And I drove a bus for 6 years, and I've had a couple cars run, you know. So people need to be aware.
Us is stop signs just like a stop sign on the road, and sometimes they don't realize that.
Yes.
We do prosecute those individuals, and Sheriff's Office and City Police have done a great job in helping us with that. And I know some one-way streets, same thing. We've seen cars come up the wrong way or down the wrong way, whichever
Yes.
you say, and
So.
almost run into messes. But our bus drivers do a fantastic job. You're welcome to ride the bus with them anytime. It's a wonderful experience. I rode Gary Wright's just the other day, and we had a great time. And it's good just to get on there and see what they're doing. You have no idea what they're going through, because they're not only trying to focus on their main job of driving that bus and driving it carefully, but the students that are on the bus with behavior and then just social emotional things, they are the first ones to see our students every day. So I tell them, you are the essential staff of this school system because you set the tone for those students every day. And now they deal with, parents dragging on the bus. We've had to have some arrested for harassment and assault on the bus because they drag on the bus every day. It's unbelievable the behavior of some adults now. That's something we just have to work on and say that's not what we're going to tolerate in the county because that's not who we are. We have to set that example for our students. We're working on that though.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. And I just wanted to say, having worked with Ms. Sheffer and her staff for 8 years, I think Union County is fortunate, one, to have Ms. Sheffer in that leadership role with the schools. I think you'll always find that the students, the best interest of students always foremost, but I can tell you she's all about efficiency gains, cost containment, and doing the right thing. And I know that firsthand, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Union County is my home. I want to leave it better than I found it in the school system. So we have a lot of great students and great families. And I believe the majority of them do the best they know how. We're going to educate them on doing better. Any other questions? Thank you, Judge O'Neill. Appreciate it.
I'll just say as you close, I'll echo those sentiments. It's been a great experience. Ms. Sheffer and I have developed this partnership approach where we keep each other involved and we talk, and she's been really helpful keeping me included to know what's going on, how we can be of help, how they can be of help, and she is a leader's leader, and we're thankful for her. So thank you, and for Melinda and everybody, Amy, for being here this morning. Thank you all for taking time to come out to see us today.
I couldn't go without the team. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is Union County Coroner Stephen Schaus. Stephen?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank all you magistrates and judges for meeting with me individually this past week. Let me sort of give you some information about what we do and how we go about it and why it's necessary. I met with everybody except Jerry, and he had I'll just cut to the chase. I think spending a lot of time. What we've requested is a $200 increase in our expense allowance because I house the coroner's office in my home, and all the paraphernalia that goes with that. I keep all the records, also all the supplies, body bags, all that kind of stuff. I keep the van that we have in our shop, keep it above freezing, and keep the body bags pliable. I keep a cooler in the shop to prevent the electric, and provide the electricity for that. So I think that should be some, a fair amount, since I've been doing this for 17 years now. Secondary, I'd like to request a major bump in our salary for our department to retain our deputies that we have now, which do an excellent job in the next budget cycle that you're working on currently. From the time elements from when I started, and as the coroner's office has progressed over these 17 years, it should be double what we spend on case stands. And the next 4 years, I hope they'll get some type of facility for us. Thank you.
That was quick and to the point. Well, we just for me, I know try to educate myself, and I know these guys have, and some of the new ones will as well, about what goes on with the coroner's office, and that's a job that is difficult at best under the circumstances, and so also realize through the fires that we had early on back in the spring, where we had the loss of life of a toddler, that even requires more work, where the coroner's office has to organize this huge meeting with law enforcement and Fiscal Court and county attorney's office and everybody to see how we can approach that and what we can do differently to save that life, basically, and to keep everybody in the loop. And so the hours are hard to keep track of. I know they spend a lot of time on the reports. They're in charge of all the statistics that come out of Union County as far as death records, and whether it be through drug-related incidents or those others, it comes from that office. It doesn't come from mine. It comes from their office, and they have to have a lot of work that they have to keep up with, and they're even in the business of having to do, in my conversations with Stephen, they have to do death certificates most of the time because the doctors don't like to do those anymore. So that's even more work. And if you've had to work through those estate issues, you've got to have those death certificates, and you have to have them in multiples. And so we appreciate that. Appreciate all the work that they do. That's behind the scenes and one of those jobs that nobody really wants to know about, but it has to be done. And we're thankful that we have the crew that does it, and appreciate y'all's work for sure. So you've heard the request. Does the magistrates have a
Let's say, Coroner Schaus, currently you're getting $100 a month expenses,
That's correct.
so you want to raise it to $300
That's correct.
per month?
Yes.
Has that been the same? You've been at 100 for
17 years.
17 years, okay.
My suggestion would be to deal with it when we do the budget. We don't have any of this money budgeted. And, got several requests.
Yeah, certainly the salaries, the salary request would be done in the next budget, for sure.
I think the $200 increase is more than reasonable and a prudent expenditure. Carve that one out and deal with the other requests in the budget.
I agree with Jim.
Be my position.
He's housed that van, and I agree with Jim.
I'll put our treasurer on the spot. We find some money for $200 a month in our budget.
Well, it just so happens that I have my papers right here, and I will beyond brag on Stephen and his minimal expenses. He is hands down the most frugal elected official I think I've ever met. He does not spend hardly anything at all out of his budget. Yeah, he's very resourceful, and that, the line item that he's referring to, his $100 a month, that would be increased, but there are so many others that he doesn't come close to touching that I could do a budget transfer to cover that for the next 6 months, and then in the next budget, have it allocated accordingly.
Okay, good. Would you like to put that in form of a motion?
So
Jim?
move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I would like to say something. We've got a lot of requests. I'm guessing the school system's probably gonna raise taxes. I'm just guessing that. And I might be talking out of turn there. The coroner wants a new facility, or a facility. The jailer wants a new facility. My understanding in talking with him. 911 wants a new facility. And it's all good, these are good things, but I sat on this court before and we went bankrupt doing good things. And then we put occupational tax on, and we said, when we get the court at that time, even though I didn't vote for it, so when we get our finances straight, we're gonna do away with that occupation tax. Well, I don't see that ever happening. But I just, it's fine, you vote how you want, but when it comes time, you're gonna have to raise taxes if you have all these expenditures. Just a fact of life, just like Ms. Sheffer, when she has all those expenditures, they have to raise taxes to keep functioning. So I just wanna say that, be mindful of all the expenditures you're making. like I said, I sat on the court before, and we went bankrupt doing good things. Doesn't mean we did anything that didn't help the community.
I might add, back to Ms. Gibson's comment, I believe that Stephen Schaus is covering expenses out of his own pocket. And we're talking about a $200 a month expenditure. We're not talking about constructing a facility.
And he does an awesome job. I'm a first responder. I work with the man and his crew, and they do an awesome, difficult job.
Any further discussion?
I'm not questioning whether he does a good job.
I understand what you're
It's
saying.
tripling what he gets. Maybe he needs more than that. We need to be mindful of what we spend.
I wasn't able to meet with him before a funeral, and I was wanting to wait till the new budget came out too. I know there is a lot of expense, but I know it is tripling what it is, and you're doing awesome. Nobody here is questioning the job. I've been here 16 years, so you've been here the whole time I've been here, and you've been awesome the whole time, so.
I'd like to ask your treasurer if we do the 300 and they only spend 150 or 200, what about the extra 100? Or does it just stay in their budget, or is it just, how does that work?
No, it would go to him.
There wouldn't be any left over. It's all going to pay for those expenses that he has. The heated garage and all that stuff that he's paying out of his pocket now. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Next item is our annual order setting maximum amount for county clerk deputies and assistants. Annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants pursuant to KRS 64530, subparagraph 3. Fiscal Court shall fix annually the maximum amount, including fringe benefits, which the officer may expend for deputies and assistants. Fiscal Court of Union County, in compliance with state law, hereby sets the maximum amount of which the county clerk of Union County may expend from fees during calendar year 2019 at $265,963.28. That's $265,963.28 for deputies, assistants, and other employees. Maximum amount as set includes all amounts paid from fees for full-time salaries, part-time salaries and wages, and vacation and sick leave. I need that in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Does that include the clerk's salary,
No, these are just deputy salaries.
deputy salary? Okay. Have you figured in raises, Gary?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a percentage of raise, or what did you?
Well, the 5% is what I requested the last board meeting. I will tell you though, that's the same number that was approved last year. There's not an increase in that.
Same amount each year, 5%.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Have a 2018 sheriff budget amendment. Dear fiscal court members, Sheriff Mickey Arnold requests the following change to 2018 Union County Sheriff's budget. Amend line 22, number 22, uniforms from $10,000 to $11,000 for a $1,000 price increase. Amend line number 36, sheriffs and deputies equipment from line 36, from $18,000 to $17,000, having a decrease of $1,000, which would be a net sum of zero. Please amend the 2018 budget as follows. Sincerely, Mickey Arnold, Sheriff.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 6 is the jail policy and procedure manual. Sheriff, Elder, it's all yours. I mean, jailer elder.
Sheriff Jelly.
Sheriff, well, kind
Uh,
of, jailer
every
elder,
year,
my apologies.
I present the jail policy procedure, manual before the court has to get approved every January, so they can see me every January, it's the same. We have amendments, I'll kind of go over the amendments, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I only have 3 amendments this year to the policy procedure manual. First is, the old fire plan was just kind of confusing and wasn't worded the way I liked it. My chief deputy went over that as well. I kind of reread it where it was a step-by-step process. That's the only change in it. The second one is, we added a policy and procedure on how to pass meds to inmates. It's a step-by-step where the employees can refer to the policy and procedure and know step-by-step how to do it. So I just wanted that as a policy and procedure. The last one, we're adding fees for all these medical requests. The medical requests have just been getting outrageous here lately. So we're gonna start throwing the fees, which we're allowed to do, or KRS. We're like a nurse's visit's gonna be $5. If they need to see the doctor, it's gonna be $10. Prescription's gonna be $10 per script. Over-the-counter medication will be $5. We have to take them outside the facility to see a doctor or a specialist or anything of that nature. That'd be a $100 fee. And any type of testing like x-rays or anything like that is going to be a $25 fee. So it's just basically cut down on all the bogus medical requests that we can get, so we can get legitimate ones. We'll recoup some of this money, but not very much of it. So
Okay, so that's, the inmate will pay those fees.
correct. They'll
And-
come out there. Well, they'll get billed, and once they get commissary money come in, take out their commissary money.
Okay. Then you're assuming some of them will be indigent, won't be able to pay.
Correct.
But they'll still get medical.
Correct,
Okay.
yes. We're required to give them all medical, but we can charge a small reasonable fees. And this is the fees we called other jails that are charging, so.
Okay. Does the jail committee have a recommendation?
I mean, I looked over all of them, and the recommendations seem to be in order to me. I mean, especially when you got the professionals doing the evacuation and all that stuff, so they, if nothing, any other jail's not doing it, so that was my recommendation.
Same here.
Crystal sent them to me Thursday or Friday.
Is
I
that
had
a
it-
motion,
I had
is
it
that a
in the notes.
motion, or?
I'll make it in the form of a motion.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have a first reading of an ordinance amending ordinance 91-01 relating to the abatement of nuisance in the unincorporated areas of Union County. I'll turn it over to our county attorney. Julie, you want to give us an update of what we've got here? And
I can, I think normally you read the summary, but I can.
I can read that first, and then I'll come back to you. How about that?
Well, I could give a little, I guess,
Okay.
explanation. It's my opinion that our current ordinance is deficient on several levels, in trying to clean up the county. A lot of the complaints I get, it is not covered under our current uses. So this is a whole revamping of it, and it's an amendment to it, but we'll have a new number, 19, whatever ordinance we're up to.
Mhm.
And the summary, just gives the main points on, what areas are included. And that's basically it, just so we can, be a little more efficient in our county.
Okay, I'll read through it. Commonwealth of Kentucky, Union County Fiscal Court Ordinance Number 19 to be determined. An ordinance relating to the abatement of nuisance of the unincorporated areas of Union County, Kentucky. Summary of ordinance. This ordinance makes it unlawful for the owner, occupant, or persons having control or management of land in an unincorporated area of this county to permit or cause a nuisance to develop or exist thereon, which includes but not limited to accumulation, keeping, or existence of the following: ashes, rubbish, garbage, lumber, bricks, cinder blocks, installation material, building debris, construction waste, unused appliances, inoperable or unregistered vehicles or auto parts, unused or inoperable farm equipment or other equipment, and any other refuse or waste of any kind, whether liquid or solid. Any structure which becomes unfit or unsafe for human use, habitation, or occupancy, or other conditions on property which renders said property unhealthy, unsanitary, dangerous, or injurious to occupants of the property or to the other individuals, including mobile homes. Abandoned, discarded, or unused objects or equipment such as mobile homes, manufactured homes, campers, partially dismantled, wrecked, or otherwise inoperable automobiles, furniture, and appliances. Campers or recreational vehicles which are stored when not in use but are otherwise in usable conditions shall not be considered a nuisance when stored when not being recreationally used. The growth of grass, trees, vines, underbrush, or other forms of vegetation or the accumulation of dead trees, vines, bushes, weeds, underbrush, or other vegetation in such manner and extent that the subject property may reasonably become inhabited by rodents, mosquitoes, or other vermin or animals so as to endanger the public health and safety, as to cause or support the transmission of disease. The existence or growth of untended vegetation growth in excess of 8 inches in height shall be prima facie evidence of a nuisance hereunder. However, in determining the existence of such nuisance, the proximity to other property owners and historic or traditional use and maintenance of the subject property and adjoining properties shall be considered. Brush piles or other discarded vegetative materials, unless stored at least 500 feet from the property line of an adjoining neighbor, provided that active composting shall be exempted herefrom unless causing noxious odor emanating on the property of others, and further exempting grass clippings or yard waste which may be stored on a residential property for up to 30 days prior to removal. Used tires, if more than 20 tires accumulate upon property in a building or other enclosed structure protected from the elements and out of view of any public roadway, or more than 10 tires accumulated or stored upon property outside of a building or enclosed structure. Contiguous properties under common operation shall be considered one property for the purpose of this section. Under no such circumstances shall tires be accumulated or stored within view of a public roadway or adjoining property. More than 20 tires accumulate in the normal course of business or agricultural activity. Such tires shall not be determined to be a nuisance under this ordinance if stored in an enclosed roadworthy trailer until shipment to a recycler or disposal facility. As used in this section, normal course of business shall refer to the automobile or equipment repair or the other use of tires as part of such automobile or equipment, and not to the business of shipping, storing, or trading used tires, which shall be subject to the limitation above unless a licensed tire retailer. Alleged violations shall be investigated by the solid waste coordinator, county engineer, peace officers, or any other county employees as designated by the county judge executive. The ordinance requires abatement of the nuisance by the owner, occupant, or persons having control or management of the premises within 30 days of notice as provided in the ordinance, or within 24 hours of notice if the violation constitutes an immediate danger to the health and well-being of the community or adjoining property owner, unless the owner appeals within the same period prescribed. The ordinance provided for a hearing before the fiscal court with the right of appeal to circuit court. The ordinance establishes procedure for abatement of the violation by the county government if the owner fails to do so, and provides that the cost of abatement shall be a personal liability of the owner of the property, and the county government shall have a lien against the property for the cost of the abatement. The ordinance establishes procedures for enforcement of such lien. In addition, the fiscal court is authorized to pursue other remedies for collection of the debt for the cost of abatement. The ordinance also provides for criminal penalties for violation thereof. I think in order to discuss this, we need a motion for the ordinance and a second, and then we go for the discussion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Now how about discussion?
Counselor, how will it, like a farm, 10 acres or more, will this apply to that? Because wouldn't it be agriculturally exempt?
That, I'm not sure, it does include in subsection A, unused or inoperable farm equipment. I can check on that.
You know, we've had, in county I've taught at our trainings on, like the storage of manure, large piles of it. They store it to scatter for fertilize. And what they say, it's agricultural use, you cannot touch that.
That's correct. I have to look at the state statute, paragraph 65, but we can't do anything that, if it is in conflict with the state statute controls.
Takes precedent.
Yes.
We all been fighting this type of property. I know Mayor Bird from Uniontown fights it every day, and some of the people don't take care of the property, and the ones beside them want it to be taken care of. They suffer, you know, with the mosquitoes and everything else, not only the looks. And so we've been fighting this battle for, I mean,
Yeah, I think I've fought it more than anybody.
You've
but-
been here
but
a
I wanna
long,
do it
long
right.
time.
But this is for unincorporated areas. I don't think it'll affect
It
Mayor.
won't. It won't. I'm just saying he's fighting his own battle.
Right.
I'm not saying, but we fight that battle too.
Yeah.
The ordinance as it stands now has 0 teeth. There's not much we can do of anything, and it really kind of hamstrings everybody to deal with this issue, and the purpose of this is to be able to have some teeth where we can try to clean up some areas of the county that certainly need to be done, and there's a kind of a concerted effort with Morganfield and Sturgis, and maybe getting a group countywide to start working on this together, and we want to be kind of in lockstep with everybody. Now, I know we're not going to Uniontown, we're not doing stuff in the cities, but we want to be somewhat cooperative across the board as we can to try to clean up both county and cities of Uniontown County.
Counselor, how does this ordinance here, what are the main points it enhances the ordinance we have in place right now?
I don't think I brought the previous ordinance only included unsafe structure and overgrowth, two things, that was it, so that's how it, basically everything. Done in 91, it just,
It was done in 1991? Okay. Any further discussion?
I just wonder how many people in the county are aware we're doing this, whether it matters or not.
has to be published.
Yeah,
It has to be published, and this is the first reading. We have
First
to have
time.
another reading, and there'll be a time that people would be able to comment on that.
This is
Was
the
it
first step.
published for 2 weeks? How long?
Yes.
Okay. That should give them time if they.
That's correct. Any further discussion?
I am kind of concerned about who's going to enforce it and oversee it. It's going to be a pretty good job for somebody for a while. Sean, looks like you're going to be involved in it.
I got plenty to do.
Your name's on there, you better speak up. You're the county engineer, aren't you?
You're second.
Yeah.
You're second in command.
We'll,
Job security.
no further discussion. We'll have the roll call. Magistrate Clemens?
Aye.
Magistrate Burns? Magistrate Floyd?
Aye.
Magistrate Wyatt? Magistrate Ricketts?
Aye.
County Judge Executive Adam Onan, aye. Okay, thank you. Next item is House Bill 200 resolution. We've done this once before, but since we had a change of our state senator, DOG asked us to run this back through, so we've contacted Senator Mills. That's going to take me a little time to get used to. Senator Mills and we have his letter of support for the film on all the schools. And so once we have this resolution Adoption of a resolution of the Union County Fiscal Court authorizing the filing of a Kentucky Local Government Economic Development Fund House Bill 200 project proposal grant application for up to $34,889 in local government economic development single county funds with the Department for Local Government, authorizing and directing the Union County Judge Executive to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by DLG to carry out this project, and authorizing the Judge Executive to act as the authorized correspondent for this project of a high-threat protection film for the entrance windows and doors for the Union County Public Schools and John Paul II Catholic Schools. I need that in the form of a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Once we send this up and get this back, we'll be back in touch about our agreement between the schools and the county on making sure we have everything covered there. But this is the first step of that, or the first re-step in that process, since we have new magistrates and a new state senator. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Claims.
We went over the claims Friday. County attorney was there, Jim Ricketts, the judge, and myself. Everything seemed to be in order. We had liked a few signatures. I think Jailer Elder came in today and signed those. So I think everything is signed that we needed signatures on. So I'll make a motion, we pay the claims.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Transfers. Paying out road money.
Well, actually, the road transfer was a coal severance project that the state sent us in our LGA, but it was actually a project we were running out of the road, so I had to transfer from the LGA to the road to correct that deposit.
Okay.
And put it in the right fund, and then the other $25,000 was just the normal jail transfer.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, our treasurer's report. I'm sorry, treasurer's quarterly report. Lisa?
I knew what you meant because the treasurer's report was done last time. I did get everything balanced out and complete for the second quarter, and as you all know, with it being an election year, we were not allowed to spend over 60% by December 31st. And I'm very pleased to report we actually hit at 47% expenditures. The general fund was at 51, but all of our other funds were below 50%, which is excellent and right where we want to be. And on the even more positive side, all of our revenues are above 50% in all our funds. So
Okay.
I'm very pleased with where we're at.
I think we made a point to make sure we stayed way below the 60%.
Yes. Yes.
Over and over and over, so.
Yes, we, honestly, we don't ever.
I know.
We strive right at 50 every year, not just this year, but.
We just want to make sure, especially this year, we stayed way
especially
below
this year,
that.
Good.
Right.
And I'm pleased that you're pleased.
Yes, yes, as long as I stand up strong on my face, we're good.
Thank you, Lisa. Entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. From my comments, I have several I want to lead with here before we get to the magistrates. One thing I want you to be sure and take note of all that stuff in your seat. Paul comes through and puts that out. A lot of community announcements. I think the Kentucky travel book is in there. Some real good information for you. So take note of that and spread those around. We've got some more of those if people need them. Last court meeting, I gave an update on some FEMA money that we had applied for and thought it'd be 18 months to 2 years to get. We got the majority of that last week. So that's, again, that's due to some hard work of some people in this room. Our Mike and Sean and Greg and Lissa were mainly the ones leading that charge, so we appreciate you getting that done. And so that money will be replenished back into the road fund. That's mostly where that, if not all of it, came from. And so we're still working on the Blackburn boat ramp, which continues to deteriorate. And so we're hopeful to hit a home run with that too when we get notice of that. That's in process, so we'll find that out. Road crew was out busy this weekend. Appreciate their efforts. They were out Sunday and Monday. Had planned on being off Monday, but we talked and we were trying to get your kids back in school. We worked hard. And when I say we, I mean they worked really hard. They were out and about all day early, and so we appreciate those. I'll be working. Spent some time at the last conference working on some coal legislation. I think I've shared with about our coal severance, which is vitally important to all of us, and trying to get that simplified. And we're trying to get some language at a bill sponsor to try to introduce something in this short session. So we'll be making several trips and working again with that coalition I spoke about before of Dan Mosley and Judge Albie Brock from Bell and Harlan County, and then Judge Henry and myself from West Kentucky. It's kind of east to west, and hopefully we can get something done. I want to brag on the employees of the county because of their involvement in this our employee wellness program. We're going to get a $34,000 credit next month.
No. On February's, I have it in my hand, the
Yeah.
bill. But
Yeah.
yes, it will be February's bill.
So that's a big lick, and we appreciate their participating in it. That's all designed to keep people healthy, and so that involves doctor visits, vaccines, immunizations, coming in and visiting with our nurse, and she's always a calming, soothing presence here. It's good to have her in, so that's good. $34,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Another thing I wanted to note, last week I got a call from Cindy down at Sturgis, who told us that we got the final $200 and some odd thousand grant on the flood wall. So that's all three of those grants that we applied for, we received, which means that flood wall can be fixed with virtually $0 of county money. And so when I said earlier about Amelia being helpful, that's how things like this get done. Amelia was helpful with that. Joanna from GRAD was extremely creative in her grant writing, and when I talked to her, she said it is rare that you get all those grants where you don't have to pay anything. And so we're thankful for that. I know the city of Sturgis is going to benefit from it. Sean has worked tirelessly on that since my appointment. We got involved in it right away, and so we're going to be ready to bid that out. And so, in which we need to, because there's probably 2 countries this side of the Mississippi that do that, and they don't have a lot of free time on their hands. So we'd hope to get past the flood season of 19 and be ready to hit the ground this summer, having that problem fixed where the people of Sturgis can kind of take a deep breath and say, whew, thank goodness we have our city certified. We'll have Uniontown and Sturgis certified, and that's just a good thing. So
I will say,
Amelia?
to Magistrate Clements, I checked on the issue with the Water and Sewer Job Corps, and they said that we would be happy to write letters. We could set you all up on a conference call to look at grants for that as well. I know you don't like this word, but we can also discuss loans if you're interested. But I've been checking on that, so just let us know. We're still looking, but it's a little at a time, so just let us know.
I'm holding out hope that those line items get put back in.
I'm hopeful too.
And if we get line items back in, that'll be a big help for us.
Yes.
With the representation that we have in Washington right now, we can take advantage of that maybe.
Thanks, Amelia. I like loans, I just don't like paying them back.
Right, I know.
Last thing, just to be transparent and keep everybody up to date, we met with an architect last week, came in to see about elevator for the building, and he'll be back with some recommendations and possibilities of where that, if it's even a starting point. But obviously, we have one sitting in the window, 4 standing up. Would more than likely have more people here if we could, and so I'd sure love to see us moved upstairs to that big courtroom where we could have a screen where a PowerPoint could be shown, and it'd just be a good setting. But until we get an elevator where everybody is included in that process, we'll continue meeting here, and hopefully that can be done. But I don't really have anything to report other than to report that we met, and we hopefully will have something. Your understanding, Sean?
Yeah, he actually emailed me this morning, wants me to measure the floor height.
Okay.
I'll get that back to him today.
Okay, thank you.
Next meeting.
Okay, so hopefully we'll have something to talk about a little more in depth at our next meeting. Anybody have any questions for me before I run off?
Is there a ballpark figure yet on
No.
the elevator?
No.
Nothing.
None from the engineer. Master White?
I just want to commend Mike and his crew for awesome job. Thank you, cleaning our roads. Greg, have you heard anything on the Fire Rescue Air Pack grant?
No, sir, it's still pending. We haven't had an update.
Okay. I spoke with Skylar as well, and we hope that's coming down soon, but we don't, maybe in the next 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
It's closer than it was.
Thank you.
Is that all you got?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jerry?
Just a couple things. Like the rest of them, I talked to Mike early, and I talked to him late, and he was gonna come back Sunday and Monday and get a few trouble spots so we can go back to school today, and then we get a snow that nobody talked about. And my wife said it's snowing. I said, it's not gonna do anything. Nah. No, so we didn't get to go to school today, but tomorrow looks good. And, hopefully whatever's supposed to come tomorrow going out. There you go. Our water project in Uniontown seems to be going well. I talked to a few landowners that need to go through their property. A couple we hadn't touched. One of them was in 20 family members owned it, so we got that all cleared up. And they were getting close to connecting.
Yeah.
They were already almost down to the end, so that was, I think, Thursday or Friday. So everything's going well as far as I know, and that's the update they gave me.
Good.
The wellness program, we talked big about it. I mean, I sat here, talked to all the employees, and evidently they've all bought in, and I mean, 'cause we said we couldn't keep this up, but when you get $34,000 back, it paid off. I mean, it was a big deal. So, Melissa called me. I don't know if she was supposed to tell me, but she told me.
Oh, I told her, I said, I am calling Jerry Floyd. No one else can call Jerry Floyd.
It's a big deal. So, but everybody bought into it. Like she said, it is a calming fact when you feel better when you leave here. So, just for a community announcement, led by Miss Amy Morris's daughter, the Lady Knights are going for an undefeated season tomorrow night, which I don't know if it's ever happened, but I know it hadn't happened in our school. But they'll be 26-0 if they pull it off tomorrow night. And little Miss Page is right there with us, so it's been a lot of fun. That's all I have.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, I'd like to, thank everybody for being here and having an interest in our business. So thank you for that, and Mike, you and your crew, and the hard work over the weekend. One thing that's on my radar, and I want to bring it up with you judges, I want to do what we can to assist Sturgis in addressing their sewer issue. Now, whether that's, I'm not saying fund any, I'm just saying help them, whether that be writing grants, whatever, but it's an issue that I would love to see us do some work with.
Okay, we'll talk.
Appreciate that.
Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Master Burns?
I'd just like to say, golf course came to us last week, I believe it was, and they're asking for some money and for equipment. And anyway, we've contacted Greg, and let's see if we can get some assistance from them to help them. And so far, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if you have, Ed, or not.
I got an email, but I haven't read it.
But anyway, just let you know on the radar, they are going to be ask them for some money to update their equipment. And I think we really need to try to help them, because we do away with the recreational area there. You have nothing there in Sturgis, you know, to draw on for business that want to locate there. So I think we need to look at that and try to help if we can. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Master Clemens?
Mike, thank you and your crew for, well, y'all put in a lot of time. Did our equipment hold up? Everything work okay, or, okay, so, pardon?
I said for the most part.
Okay. The pre-treatment we'd put down a few weeks before, and of course we had all the rain. Could you see any effect, lasting effect, or was it pretty much gone?
It was hard to tell because the rain, or the snow was melting so quick.
The last one, the snow melted real quick. And this one, we couldn't put it down because of the rain.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I just didn't know whether there'd be any lasting effects that would carry over or not. Counselor, I would like, if you could research so we know what we're voting on the ordinance, how, if that affects farms, you know.
Pretty sure it's exempt, but I'll check.
Okay, any information we could get on that, where we stand legally. Before we get out and starting pass it, starting enforcing it, we better know what we can do and can't do. So I would appreciate you gathering some information for me on that. And congratulations to Magistrate Floyd and the Lady Knights of John Paul. Hope you,
We gotta finish now.
I think y'all will beat Whitesville.
Feel good about it.
And good luck with that. Congratulations. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have anything good to add? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, do we have some? Oh, yeah, Mayor. Sorry.
Yes, Judge, a few weeks ago when you had your meeting out of town here, I talked to Senator Mills, and I talked to you.
Mhm.
And Senator told me that, you know, whatever y'all recommended would be fine with him. So 3 weeks ago, we had one of our employees run a backhoe off the river. And our insurance ended up paying $23,000 on that. We found a used backhoe in Evansville, and we bought it in 2017 for $94,500. Looks like the balance of it is $71,500. I talked to the senator about what's home service pay, and he said, whatever you recommended, you know, the people stay behind you, whatever you recommended, and that's what I was usually laying about, and I asked him for some help on it, whatever y'all can do for him.
Okay, let's, because we're kind of out of business, let's put that on as a item. We'll put that on as agenda item at our next meeting, where we can talk about it a little more in depth and fill that out, and we'll do a little research in the meantime, but we'll talk about that at our next meeting. Fair enough?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Mayor Byrd, who'd you have your insurance with?
I couldn't tell you that right now.
Okay.
The backhoe
You know, I
was,
know that, we bought the backhoe in 1997, we gave $45,000 for it.
In 97.
And it was 2 years old when we bought it, 95 model, and we get $45,000 for it. We got 23 back out of, on the insurance, so we got over half of it back after
used it for 21 years.
all that years.
Right, that's
We done pretty good on
reasonable.
it. People in the case told us that we were lucky that we got $67,000 out of it.
Yeah, probably did a lot better than that than you would have it at public auction. Who was operating, they weren't hurt, were they?
No.
Operating.
We're very fortunate because they got out before it
was
filled
good.
out,
Yeah, it's
before we got the
good.
door, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're adjourned.